Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're really diving into something. Well, it's probably the most complex set of sources we've ever tried to tackle here.
Yeah, it's quite a stack.
We're talking about weaving together things like cutting-edge astrophysics, really deep esoterica, ancient prophecy, even symbolic geometry.
It's dense stuff. And it all seems to converge, doesn't it, on this very specific window, 2025, maybe stretching into 2026.
Exactly. These sources keep calling it the Zero Meridian.
Right, the Zero Meridian. This sounds like this overwhelming synchronized moment. But here's the thing that makes this analysis tricky and honestly really important for you listening. We've got two source perspectives here that are fiercely, fundamentally opposed on what this whole thing actually means.
And right in the middle of both stories, there's this physical object currently in our solar system, this interstellar traveler, 3IATLS.
Yes, and both sides, despite disagreeing on almost everything else, describe this object as some kind of powerful intrusionary force.
Okay, so our mission today really is to try and cut through some of that noise, compare these two clashing views.
Exactly. One view, let's call it the hidden map, sees this whole convergence, the Zero Meridian, as engineered, deliberate control.
Okay.
And the other view, the harmonic wave, looks at the exact same stuff, the prophecy, the timing, the object, and sees, well, architectural liberation, a kind of spiritual invitation.
So these aren't just abstract ideas for the sources. They're framing this as a critical karmic choice point coming up.
That's the language they use, yes.
Yeah.
You really need to understand both maps, they argue, just to figure out how to navigate what's potentially ahead.
Got it. Okay, let's start unpacking the celestial marker first. Why these years, 2025, 2026? What makes this Zero Meridian so significant?
Well, think of it maybe like cosmic hour zero. That's a simple way to put it. It's not just a new year flipping over.
Right.
The claim is it marks the completion, the fulfillment of a whole cosmic event, and the definitive start of a massive news cycle. Astrologically speaking, late 2025 into early 26 has these incredibly rare, high-stakes alignments.
Like what?
Things like a grand water trine and, crucially, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening in Aries. These apparently line up with ancient markers predicting a huge, possibly irreversible shift in consciousness.
And it's not just background astrology. Right in the middle of all this is 3IS loss. You said it's the thing that makes it real or terrifying or inviting, depending on the view.
Precisely.
So what is it about this object? Why is it so weird that both sides treat it less like a comet and more like, well, something aware?
Or
Controlled.
The physical data is strange, to say the least. Official reports mention a solid nickel body, okay, but with almost no iron. That's compositionally very odd.
Yeah.
It also gives off these intense metallic reflections. But the real kicker, the thing that shifts it from weird space rock towards technosignature in these sources, is the engine-like carbon dioxide thrust.
Wait. Engine-like? You mean like propulsion?
Yes. The way it seems to maneuver, these CO2 jets, it strongly suggests for these researchers a non-natural propulsion system, which leads them to label it an intelligently controlled device or maybe an engineered artifact. It just doesn't act like a normal comet.
Okay, wow. That immediately forces the question, doesn't it? If it is engineered, was it made for chaos, like one side says, or for liberation, like the other claim?
That's the absolute core of this deep dive. And what's really fascinating from the harmonic wave side, the consciousness view, they immediately internalize it.
How so?
They look at the name 3IATLS symbolically. The 3I is taken to mean the rotation of intellect, imagination, and intuition inside the self.
Ah. Let's hold on to that harmonic wave idea for a moment, because first we really need to grapple with this hidden map perspective, the one that sees 3IATLS basically as a weapon.
Right.
This view pulls a lot from researchers like Tom Horn, connecting these current events to very specific symbolic codes for control.
Yeah, this viewpoint argues that the whole 2025 convergence isn't random at all, it's a timeline. One that was deliberately designed, prophesied, and coded centuries back.
By whom?
Primarily by powerful secret societies. Most notably the Freemasons, who, as these sources argue, heavily influenced the founding of the U.S.
So the insight here for the hidden map view is that 2025 is just activating a plan, a 250-year-old plan.
Pretty much, an operational plan. And it centers, crucially, on a specific figurehead returning.
Which is?
The return of the Masonic Messiah, identified as Apollo. Now, in this particular interpretation, drawing on analyses of pagan traditions and Masonic lore, Apollo, son of Jupiter, is seen as the Antichrist, the counter-Jesus. And his return is specifically scheduled, they say, for a time of global chaos, when the earth and oceans are, quote, tottering.
And this encoding, you're saying it's embedded in U.S. symbols. How does that work? That sounds specific.
Very specific. The sources spend a lot of time on the Great Seal of the United States, the motto, Novus Ordo Seclorum, New Order of the Ages.
Right, on the dollar bill.
Exactly. For them, that's the smoking gun. Why? Because that exact phrase is lifted directly from a pagan prophecy, specifically the prophecy of the Cumean Sibyl, who was a priestess of Apollo. So by putting that motto on the seal, the founders, according to this research, essentially time-stamped the nation's founding documents with the return schedule for this pagan deity.
Okay, but predicting a specific object like Three-Eye Atlas, how could they foresee that? Couldn't it just be any comet as a sign?
Apparently not. The argument is the prophecy required something more definitive, something capable of, shattering the old order. The hidden map view argues the founders actually anticipated a technological vessel. Yes, that Apollo's return, his spirit, needed this advanced engineered artifact, which they identify as Three-Eye Atlas with its metallic nature, its controlled movement. For followers of this interpretation, Three-Eye Atlas isn't just a sign, it is the physical arrival, the undeniable start of the Novus Ordo Seclorum.
So the endgame in this view, total global subservience, run by a hidden elite using this planned, symbolic, technological event. A kind of false golden age, but pagan.
That's the core warning from the hidden map, yes. Symbol is used as a weapon, and the Zero Meridian is the trigger date.
Wow, okay, that's a profoundly bleak picture. Let's pivot completely then. Let's look at the other side, the harmonic wave. This draws on those Polygon Codex dialogues, right?
Right, and here the whole understanding of symbolism just flips on its head.
How so?
Well, this perspective comes out of work by Wolfgang Pauli, the Nobel physicist, and Carl Jung. Their dialogues, collected in the Codex, really explored the connection between psyche and matter, and the core idea is, symbol is not a decoration of meaning, it is the architecture of cognition itself.
Okay, architecture of cognition.
So those same Masonic symbols, the same celestial alignments, they aren't seen as political blueprints for control. They're seen as structural cues, phase cues for human consciousness itself.
So not a map for elites, but human identity described as moving geometry. What does it practically mean for someone listening? How does that feel?
It means your identity isn't just a straight line of past events. It's described as geometry remembering itself. You're a complex shape, always unfolding.
Like a pattern?
Exactly. Think about recurring dreams or those aha moments where something just clicks into place, structurally. That's geometry remembering itself, the Codex suggests. Dreams aren't noise, they're recursive encoding systems. Like a simple triangle in your mind evolving into a 3D tetrahedron. Your consciousness is building complexity, building the recursive self.
Okay, I think I follow. That helps explain this idea of a rotational identity, which leads to this other term they use. Symbolic torque sounds intense, like something breaking.
It is intense. It's the force that bends the ego's straight-line story. Imagine your life narrative is fixed, linear. Then a crisis hits, maybe external, maybe internal, that your old story just cannot explain. That tension, that cognitive dissonance, that's symbolic torque.
And Mars initiates this.
According to the Codex, yes. Mars energy forces a phase change. The old fixed self doesn't just break, it's compelled to sort of deconstruct and reassemble into something more complex, a multi-axis rotational identity that can hold paradox, hold multiple viewpoints at once.
Okay, that reframes crisis completely. So let's revisit the capstone symbol then, the pyramid top with the eye. The hidden map sees it as external control, right? The eye of Sauron, basically.
Right, the all-seeing eye of power. But the harmonic wave view internalizes it entirely. The capstone isn't something placed on you by some elite. It is the convergence point, the phase convergence of your own three eyes. Intellect, imagination, intuition.
Rising from within.
Rising from within the unfinished temple of your own body. Accessed, they say, through breath, through coherence. So the revelation isn't external doctrine, it's personal, it's geometric. The quote is striking. Revelation is the descent of the eye within.
Following that logic, astrology must get reframed too. It can't just be fate determining your day.
Exactly. It's described as a harmonic clock. The planets are resonant mirrors. They don't dictate your fate. They encode functions, frequencies that your own internal three-eye system needs to operate effectively.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Saturn isn't just limitation, it's symbolic containment. It's the time architect giving structure to your inner geometry. Mercury isn't just messages, it's the translator between your intellect and your intuition. The alignments are like field tuning sequences for the inner self, not commands from outside.
Okay, so what's the ultimate goal then from this harmonic wave view? What is 3i Atlas inviting us towards?
Liberation, evolution. The sources point out that the timing of its transit highlights the rise of Ophiuchus constellationally, the serpent bearer, the healer archetype.
Ah, the healer. Integration.
Yes, integration, transcending old dualities. The purpose is seen as sparking a spiritual awakening, pushing humanity to break free from rigid, linear, maybe patriarchal systems, and become, as they put it, transparent to geometry. 3i Atlas acts as that intrusionary force, precisely because its presence and its weird nature shatter old assumptions.
Right, so this brings us smack into the conflict. Same time, same object. Totally opposite outcomes promised.
That's the Zero Meridian conflict, yeah. It boils down to perceived intention. Is it the Masonic code, as Horn presents it, promising Apollo's return for control, using symbols as weapons? Or is it the Atlas resonance, from the Codex view, promising the great healer's invitation for liberation, using symbols as resonance, as prompts for interchange?
And discernment is key here. Both sides seem to agree on that, funnily enough.
They do, but they warn about different pitfalls. One is fear-coded rigidity, seeing every symbol as a trap, every event as part of the conspiracy. That can lead to total paralysis, right? But equally dangerous is hope-coded inflation, seeing every alignment as an instant ticket to enlightenment, which can lead to being ungrounded, maybe even delusional.
So the path forward seems to involve learning both systems, understanding the potential hidden map of control and the harmonic wave of galactic influence on us.
That seems to be the integrated approach suggested. You need a way to hold that tension internally, to manage the symbolic overload without getting swept away by either fear or fantasy.
Is there a practical tool for that, something listeners can use?
There is. The sources offer something quite concrete, Exercise 001. It's designed to stabilize that internal 3i system, intellect, imagination, intuition, to get them working together like a phase-locked loop. It's called the triune breath synchronization.
Okay, how does that work?
Here.
Because if the aim is stabilizing our inner ATLS, that sounds pretty crucial.
It's actually quite simple. It's a 4-part box breath, but with specific cognitive focus assigned to each part of the breath cycle.
Walk us through it.
Okay. You inhale, say for a count of 4, and you focus consciously on intellect. Aim for sharp clarity, crystalline thought.
Got it.
Then you hold the breath in, again for 4, focusing on imagination, not fantasy, but presence, bringing your awareness fully into the spaciousness of the present moment.
Okay, hold. Imagination.
Then you exhale for 4 counts, focusing on intuition. This is about release, letting go of thoughts, analysis, anything that's not essential right now.
Exhale. Intuition. Release.
And finally, you hold the breath out for 4 counts, focusing on integration. This is just silence, a space for those 3 elements to connect, to harmonize without forcing it.
Inhale intellect, hold imagination, exhale intuition, hold integration. So you're basically creating a conscious internal rotation.
What a bad.
What's the loop? Letting your inner ATLAs turn smoothly, regardless of external noise.
That's exactly the idea. It's not about changing the world outside with one breath exercise. It's about stabilizing the part of you that's already awake, already geometric. It's a small act of, well, defiance against external programming, maybe, and also grounding against just floating away on hope.
That really ties it together. Okay, so let's synthesize. We have this 2025 window. We have this objectively weird object, 3i Atlas, that looks engineered. And remarkably, its appearance seems to fulfill the symbolic requirements of both the ancient Masonic Apollo prophecy and the timing for a spiritual shift towards this Ophiuchus healer energy.
The fulfillment is dual, yeah. It satisfies both narratives. And maybe that's the core realization we need to sit with. Meaning the point isn't necessarily to pick a side, to definitively choose between the decoder exposing the control map or the dreamer embracing the harmonic wave.
Right. The truest understanding, maybe, comes from being able to see both perspectives, holding the hidden map and the harmonic wave simultaneously, without needing one to cancel the other out.
That seems to be what the sources point towards. The final decision, that critical karmic choice point, is ultimately personal. It's yours. Is 3i Atlas the arrival of technological control? Or is it a cosmic nudge for your own spiritual rebirth? Or perhaps something else entirely we haven't even considered?
A lot to reflect on there. We'll leave you with one final thought, a quote from the Codex, maybe something to anchor that reflection, especially if you try the breath exercise.
Let the monad speak through my silence.